Welcome back to Dies Irae. I forgot what happened in the last part. It's something about Shiro and our main character and one girl with a very annoying voice, and living together in different apartments next to each other, and having built not tunnels. They just put holes into the walls to connect the apartments to the next one. So yeah, and now we're dreaming. I think, was it? Yes, I think so. Now then, let the curtains rise on tonight's grand guignol. Yes. Hello. Huh? What? Thank you. Why? What happened? This a pleasure to make your acquaintance, my dear Zarathustra. I am but a humble jester, come to present you with an opera. Consider me naught more than a swindler, a charlatan. My name, I suppose, Cagliostro, shall suffice. Do allow me to regale you tonight with the tale of a girl I met while men still called me by that name. The tale, the fair princess of the guillotine. The tale of her origins, as well as how the two of us came to meet. I beg of you to forgive me my brevity. It all came about as a result of simple bad luck, nothing more and nothing less. Humans are bound by their birth. The average man cannot hope to compete with an absolute brought about by sheer chance at birth, regardless of his foibles or virtues. My story deals with just such circumstances. Unfortunately, there are many who fail to grasp the subtleties of these matters. Allow me to apologize for beginning by airing some tiresome grievances of mine. The less reasonable among us have a tendency to seek an explanation for anyone who they perceive as breaking the mold. Be they a mighty hero, a blithering madman, or a miserable victim. Did they reach their status through tireless effort? Perhaps because they possessed a rare resolve. Or could it be because of some traumatic event in their past? Preposterous assumptions, the lot of them. It's all nothing more than self-projection on the part of the common man, an expression of the fanciful idea that they too could have turned out that way, that they too are capable of reaching the same level should they be granted the same opportunity. Such sentiments are little more than masturbation, pitiful attempts to drag the supernatural down to their level and reduce it to something they are capable of understanding. Miserable knaves, the lot of them. They are incapable of cherishing their fellow man without forcing themselves to believe that all others operate on the same logic as them. Such fools would be better off conversing with the mirror. You will no doubt find tonight's story unpleasant, but I trust that your soul is not tainted enough to imitate the folly of lesser men. In this world there exists beings of utmost purity. Yes, I speak of her. Search the entire universe and you shall find no peers. From the moment of her birth she was complete. She did not and would never receive even the barest mite of influence from the vulgar outside world. The scar on her neck, ever flagrant. Her words pregnant only with hacks. Fated to remain forlorn, doomed to never be loved. Even an existence such as mine could not compete with a being as miraculously immaculate as her. For the first time I eyes upon true beauty. I clutched a hand to my chest, overcome by the nature of her being. Ah, how wonderful was man, but bring forth something so spectacular by mere chance. I knew immediately on some primal level that hers was not a state of being that others could hope to aspire to. One could devote his life to unravel the mysteries of dusty grimoires and never so much as set foot upon the mystic plane that was her dominion. She was absolute in her otherness. I must confess, I found myself envious of her. I'm sure you scoff at the very notion of that, of course. I can say that meeting her was the one true moment of brilliance to me to be found amongst the miserable ordeal of my life. In a way, it represented a loss on my part, yet defeat was never tasted sweeter. I finally discovered a goal to strive toward amid the endless expanse of the wasteland that I had wandered aimlessly for so long. I shall kneel before you, my beloved queen. I shall devote my very being to you, to the task of leading your soul to salvation. That shall be my opera, the day of wrath that shall rend asunder the accursed ghetto that is this universe. Come now, this time to take center stage, Zarathustra. Take her hand and lead her in dance. I would like nothing more than for you to dazzle me. Suddenly, I don't know if you catch the microphone. Suddenly, I heard the sound of waves crashing against the shore. I found myself standing on a mysterious beach, bathed in the crimson hue of dusk. This was a place far removed from the hectic fervor of the city. I could hear nothing but the quiet murmur of the waves and the sporadic chirping of birds somewhere in the distance. The scenery around me possessed a fleeting beauty. One brought about by the setting sun as it melted into the contours of the distant sea. This was the sort of sight that would normally vanish in an instant, but somehow I knew that here it would persist eternally. This was a moment frozen in time. Half of the sun had already sunk beyond the horizon, but the remaining half would never budge. The waves, continuing to roll in and out, were surely governed by something other than the tidal force I was familiar with. Suddenly I understood. This was a dream. There wasn't a beach like this anywhere near Suvara City. Hell, it didn't even look like somewhere in Japan. I'd set foot on foreign soil, set foot on a temporal plane far removed from the present. It would seem that I understood the nature of this place on an instinctual level. By all means, I should have felt some sense of bewilderment being confronted with so surreal scenery, but I simply found myself captivated by it. There was a certain nostalgic atmosphere about the place that spoke to me. No, maybe what really drew me in was the sense of stagnation. This was a world frozen in time, possessed of the beauty of an everlasting sunset. The very concept of the flow of time was meaningless here. An eternal twilight, decorated by a sun that would never dip below the horizon. This world existed on the border between day and night, its very existence a precarious reverie fallen between the cracks of reality. I felt truly at peace here, within this concentrated moment. I sat down on the beach, absently staring out at the sea and listening to the waves. I found myself overcome with a peculiar sense of déjà vu. Even though I had never laid eyes upon this place before, it was like I was already deeply familiar with it. Obviously, this was all just a dream, but it was a pleasant feeling nonetheless. knowing that you're dealing with an advance means that you can handle anything it might throw your way. Foreknowledge makes it possible to avoid dangerous situations and prolong pleasant ones, to make better, more meaningful decisions. What would bring about a greater sense of peace? Yes, my ideal world was knowing everything in advance, going around in circles until the day you die. Was that your heart's desire? She cut across my line of vision at nearly the exact same time as I turned around. Hello, person. Okay. For the first time I knew what it meant to have your breath taken away. Well, let's look at her breasts. Beautiful. Beautiful, yes, very beautiful. Could we see her face now? The word that immediately came to mind was enchanting. I felt certain that anyone who came across this girl on this beach would be stunned in the same way I was. She was outfitted in a shabby, worn-out dress. No one could call her attire elegant, but on her it exuded a radiance that women of high society could never hope to attain with even their most extravagant formal wear. Her long hair emanated an auburn aura, lit up by the dull red glow of the setting sun as she danced across the wet sand of the beach. The stark white ankles peeking out from the hem of her dress offered sharp contrast to the warm colours of the world around her. She turned to face me, emerald eyes gleaming with a gentle light. I couldn't take my eyes off of her. She was like a gemstone cut into human form. As I stared, she began to sing, a ghost of a smile playing across her face. I could only give myself onto her song, onto the sweet refrain. I still have problems with that word. Refrain. Brought forth by her heavenly voice. The words "L'enfant de la punition" suddenly flashed through my mind. I'm sorry. I had 8 years of French classes, but I still can't really speak it. I understand it, but I can't really speak it. So, kind of the punishment? I didn't know what those words meant or why they came to me now. Her song was a melody unfamiliar to me. However, I felt certain that it was some form of prayer, perhaps a hymn, unbeknownst to all but her. The girl before me was utterly pure, removed from our base world. How could a melody spilling forth from the lips of a being so immaculate be anything but a prayer? Was it possible to listen to a song we had never heard before within a dream? I didn't know, but there was no sense in pondering such questions. She was beautiful, plain and simple. That was enough to make everything else seem... Something felt vaguely out of place. Was I overlooking something important? The stirring of emotions I had felt up to that point dissolved. Listening with a clear head, the lyrics of her song began to form intelligible sentences. I had been a fool. Throughout Japan's history, twilight, the borderline between day and night, and had been regarded as the time when the boundaries between the natural and supernatural grew thin. Twilight was when the inhuman walked among the living. All along, this girl had been mad. Blood, blood, blood. It wants blood.
ギロチンに注ごう飲み物をギロチンの渇きを癒すため
Shower the guillotine with drink. May the guillotine's thirst be quenched.
欲しいのは血 ちち
What it wants is blood, blood, blood. She continued singing, the same smile as ever adorning her features. Her emerald eyes were as clear as the surface of a pristine lake, without a trace of malevolence to be found, which was precisely why the scene before me was so horrifying. Let's look at her without text. Yes, very beautiful. Now, let's continue. She possessed a childlike innocence, in jarring contrast to the utter profanity of her cursed song.
ちちち血が欲しい
Well, it's already a song, is it? Blood, blood, blood. It was blood, something like that. Her song reverberated inside my head, splitting itself into seemingly endless echoes. As I stared at her, I caught a glimpse of the crimson band across her neck, around her neck, through her dishevelled hair, unmistakably the work of a guillotine's blade.
欲しいのはちちち
What it wants is blood, blood, blood. This was the same girl I had met in the museum, the cursed girl who had met her end by the guillotine, l'enfant de la punition, the damned girl. Punition, punition. Let me Google that. I want to be sure. Punition. Strafe. Okay. The down girl. Oh. Not really. But yeah.
血が欲しい
He wants blood. I was assaulted by a sudden, brutal impact, and as if I'd been hit by a semi. My vision went black in the next moment. I found myself in the midst of a turbulent crowd, gathered around gallows set up in the center of the plaza. A torrent of sheer delirium, fueled by fear and hatred and a dark elation, consumed everything. The scenery around me little more than churning chaos, a deafening chorus filled by my ears. Je veux la sang 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 et sang sang sang. Son. Is it son? I'm not sure. I guess son. Je veux le son et son. Blood, blood, blood. It wants blood. Je veux. I want. The blood, 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 and blood. Donnons le son de guillotine. Give. Blood, the guillotine. Pour guérir la sécheresse de la guillotine. Yeah, well, to quench the thirst of the guillotine, I guess that's okay. Je veux le sang, son, son, son et son. The frenzied crowd was singing the same song that I heard only moments earlier, back in the time period when public execution like this were commonplace. It must have been the hymn they offered before the guillotine. The elites, the clergy, and the common man had come together, all for the simple purpose of seeing a criminal decapitated before their eyes, to see my head fly from my shoulders. That's right, don't ask me why, but the criminal strapped to the guillotine was none other than myself, next to me. Some sort of official was calling out to the crowd, speaking a language I didn't recognize. It would seem he was recruiting a volunteer to act as the executioner. It wasn't long before a man emerged from the crowd. He released the guillotine's blade in my hand. Tell crumbled, the ground bathed in the queer tones of the eternal dusk. My spine was severed in an instant, inducing ataxia, but my ability to feel pain had been lost along with the connection between my brain and the rest of my body. I could do nothing but stare up at my headless body as it spewed forth blood. My heart was still beating. I wanted nothing more than to extend a hand to my body, but that was impossible now.
血が欲しい
Blood, blood, blood. It wants blood. All I could do was lie on the ground listening to that abominable refrain. And with that, we're back into the real world, I guess. Back awake, and we'll see how we react to that dream in the next part. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you then. Bye!